Hi ladies, it's Karen, and I'm back to share with you the mini album that I created to go along with the little altered box that I had shared previously using the Prima tea time papers. For the mini album, what I did was I made a couple of embellishments. The first thing being I used my hexagon Sizzix die. It's by Westminster, and it cuts 1.5-inch hexagons, and several of them at a time, and I love that die. And I cut the hexagons out of chipboard, covered them with some white gesso, adhered the paper with some gel medium, and added a little bit of gesso. And on some of the hexagons, I added some Tim Holtz tissue tape or some other type of washi tape that I had on hand, just to give it a more of an altered type look to them. So I used several of those in my album, and I also altered some of these mini clothespins. I painted them a peach color and added my paper and went over it with gel medium also. So I used those in the mini album. For the covers of the album, I used some Tim Holtz grunge board because, or I think maybe it's grunge paper. At any rate, it's kind of like flexible chipboard, except it's very strong. It almost has like a leather-like feel to it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to use a soft, kind of like a soft bound cover. Because of the size of this album, I thought it would be cool if I made it to resemble like a paperback novel, like a paperback romance novel, So I used the grunge board for my front and back covers, and what I did to them is I painted them with my gesso, and then I went over them with some white acrylic paint and some crackle medium, and then some bleached sand colored acrylic paint. But the crackle didn't take, well, it crackled, but it crackled really, really fine, and I wanted more of a deep, larger crackle. So I decided to add some of my goosebumps and some more gesso, and I added some Lindy Stamp Gang colors, and I just worked it till it had that nice texture that I like, so it looked like a white leather-bound book. And so that's what I ended up doing with the cover. I used the Pumice Stone Distress ink to distress the covers and the papers in this album, because it matched the gray tones in this paper really nicely. And then for the covers, I also added some paper from the collection. I just tore some paper, adhered it with the gel medium. I added some of my magic mesh, to go along with the box that I had created, and to give it a different texture and maybe a bit of a grunge type look to it. And for the back cover, I added this lace here. I also added this trim is from Hobby Lobby, I believe, and I added some pink halfback pearls down the side, and I did that on the pink halfback pearls on the cover as well. For the binding, well, I made my own hinges for for this album, as you can see, and then for the binding, I used a piece of canvas. I measured it out, and then I painted it with a little bit of gesso, and then I went over it with the different colors of Lindy Stamp Gang, mostly the colors in the Nantucket Pearls collection. I stamped the word blessed, and that's using the 7 Gypsy stamps that you could find at Michael's these days. So I did that. I thought it looked cool having that on the binding. And then I added what do you call those? Eyelet, a pink eyelet, And then this here is half of a doily from Julie, the paper bag lady. I cut it in half, and I adhered a lot of different seam bindings that I had dyed and crinkled, and to match the papers. I added some fibers. I added a little bit of this lace here, and I just strung them so that they're hanging down, really sweet. I just thought it gave the book a nice romantic, soft feel to it. This peach flower here is from Wanda. And what else? Oh, the charms. I had some white chain, so I used that. I adhered it to a garment pin, put it through the eyelet, and I added these charms. And I know I was going to paint these charms white with gesso or something, but then I thought maybe I wouldn't, because I don't mind the metals not matching it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I don't mind the metals not matching so much. I don't mind that kind of eclectic look. Anyway, I used a locket for one charm, this little teapot charm here. Excuse my finger. Teapot charm. And this little bauble is from, I believe, Making Memories. And then Melissa Francis crystal. So I added those. And maybe you can hear, but I'm in the kitchen because the lighting, I'm hoping, is better than the other room because it's raining outside. So you could probably hear the rain. Anyway, I hope the lighting works and that the colors come out properly in the video of this album. So for the cover, I added my paper, and I went over the paper on the front and back with some gesso, kind of to give it a whitewash feel. I had added some magic mesh. This here is a snippet of some lace that I had received from Margaret, and I just thought that it would look really cool there, you know, just for added texture and the look of it. I thought it was really sweet. The peach flower here is from Wanda, and the gray and pink roses are from I Am Roses, and these two ribbon roses are from Cassie, and along with this beaded spray she had sent me in a rack as well. And I made the bottle cap with an image from the collection, and I stamped out Love Story and kind of bannered them so that they're dimensional here, and added a little bit of bling. I used my hexagons for the enclosure. This trim here is from Michael's, and you can get it on a spool, and I just adhered it to the back, adhered one of my hexagons, and then adhered the hexagon. Sorry about this. Let's see if this will work. There we go. Then adhered the hexagon, you know, to the trim, and then put it, you know, with Velcro, so that was my enclosure. So I thought the cover looked really cute, and with the ribbons and things, I thought it was really sweet. So for the inside of the album, I didn't do anything to the inside front and the inside back covers. I left them plain, as if it were a novel or a paperback book. So I just left them as is. The first page here is a note card page, and I altered a Tim Holtz little miniature dress form here with some Lindy sprays and my script stamp, and just worked it till I got a nice color. I layered it on top of a crochet doily from the paper bag lady, and I made a little tag using some Prima lace and a Martha Stewart butterfly, and I distressed the edges with the pumice stone, but I didn't do any stamping. And to add, you know, for photo or journaling, I put some Prima lace up here as if it's like a banner up around this side, and then the clip holds this side closed, and this folds out. And there's a chipboard piece here from the Thyme collection, and inside it is a little photo mat, just real simple. And then for here, this is some of that lace that Joanne had just sent me in our swap, and I added recollection flowers, a recollection flower sitting on some I Am Rose's petals, a little Maya Road acrylic ticket. This here is a note card from the collection, you know, with the hot air balloon, really sweet, and I just stamped out a tag for journaling or whatever. So then that closes back up, and then the next page is this, and for this page I added a portion of one of the doilies. I added this little small book page, and this comes from this little book here that I had gotten at a thrift store at one time. It's just like a miniature, see how small, a miniature dictionary or something. So I love using these little pages. So that's the book page that I used here, and I layered it with this sticky back canvas that is ATC size, and I had distressed it and sprayed it with some of my Lindy's. So that's the photo mat. And then this is a Wild Orchid Crafts crocheted flower. It's sitting on a 1-inch hole punch, punch that I had punched from the paper collection, and I layered it there with these peach beads, and small I Am Roses sitting on top. This black leaf is one that I used Tim Holtz die to create that. And then the next page, I used my mini Baroque die. I put it up on pop dots. I used my Punchinella with the pumice stone here. I added another peach flower that came from Wanda. Thank you, Wanda. And another black flower from the Tim Holtz die. I stamped out the word Moments and just kind of left a banner there. I layered the mat on this lace to give it a soft, feel to the page, and added a couple of I Am Rose's cherry blossoms there. So really quite simple. And this, because this is an envelope page, there is a tag and just a simple photo mat from the paper collection, and no stamping or anything on the back, just photo mat and simple use for journaling. And then the next page is this, and I made another simple little tag using paper from the collection and some trim and a Martha Stewart butterfly. And this is an I Am Rose's gardenia flower that I sprayed with my, I think it's Cape Cod coral, laid on top of one of the crochet doilies. I added a little lock here from Hobby Lobby, because if you could see in the paper, there are some locks there, and I thought it went well. I added a little bit of peach trim, some I Am Roses, pink roses, and some a Maya Road acrylic ticket there. On the top, I took another piece of the crochet doily and added flowers from my stash, and a little piece of flowered trim that I had in my stash. And then for this page, you could see it there that I went over it with my glitter gel pen, and I highlighted the image there just for a little something something. And for the next page, I used some Prima lace, and I used one of the hexagons that I made, and I created just a little another little place for pictures using some of the lace that Joanne had sent me, and a chipboard piece from the collection, and I just papered the inside and on the back, for little wallet side photos. I put in another a mini Baroque die photo mat here, and these two pieces of lace up on top that kind of act as photo corners. So I thought that worked out really cute. So then the next page, oops, I'm sorry. This is also an envelope page. So the tag inside. And the tags for this album are just really simple to be used for photos. And for this page, I got a little mixed media going on. I used the stencil that Joanne had sent me in my recent swap box, and I used some white gesso with the script stencil, and I thought it just came out really, really cool there. I took a small Tim Holtz dress form, and I painted it with white gesso. I went over it with, I believe, some paper from the collection. Then I went over it with some magic mesh, and again with the gesso, and some lace, and some Prima lace, and a little rose there. I just, worked it till I was happy with it, and, this is a little Recollections flower, and I put the flower behind just to give it a softer look, and I went over it with gesso. And I thought it looked really, really sweet, and, a photo can go behind there, or a small photo up here, but I thought it looked really sweet. For the next page, this is another one of the note card pages, so it folds out. But down here I put some pink flatback pearls, a little snippet of trim that I'd gotten from Created by Martha, Recollections flower there. I highlighted these images on this page with the gel glitter pen as well. I put some of this lace that I love from Hobby Lobby here, and I just kind of draped it. I left it open so that a photo or something can fit up in there, and then it opens up, and I used another one of my hexagons to hold this little piece of ephemera. I stamped this out using my new stamp, and it could be used for journaling or whatever. I thought it was a cute little piece of ephemera for the album. This is a doily that I used my Sizzix die to cut, and I inked it and sprayed it with my Lindy stamp game, and then I used the script stencil, and I used the pumice stone distress ink, and you could see a little bit of the script writing on that doily. I hope I explained that right, but I think you get it. So I thought that was really cute, and I added some of this dainty trim down the side from Hobby Lobby. This is just a little little tag from My Mind's Eye, and I stamped this other little tag with My Mind's Eye doily stamp, and then a little spot for journaling on the reverse side. So I thought that came out cute as well. And then that folds back. Turn the page. And for this page, I used a real, paper doily, and I inked it and sprayed it and worked it a little bit and put it down so that it made like a pocket. I added some of this lace here that I had gotten at Joann's, and another one of my hexagons, some flowers from my stash. These butterflies are punched with my Martha Stewart butterfly punch, and I added some I'm Rose's rosebuds in there and some beads in this one. And then there's another My Mind's Eye little tag here, and it says True Beauty Comes From Within. And this tag also comes out. Oh, I'm sorry, stuck. And this tag also comes out, and it says, You Are So Beautiful to Me. And on the back I put some paper for journaling. So, and then the next page, I used one of the chipboard pieces here with a piece of lace underneath and Recollection one of the recollection flowers there. And I tried to make it look like, you know how when you get a bouquet of flowers, sometimes they wrap them up in newspaper, right? So this is, I stamped this using my Tim Holtz stamp, the Urban Hayden Florist, and I tried to make this look like this was a bouquet that was wrapped in this newspaper, but you know, it's one of these book pages from my little miniature book here. So that makes a pocket, and then this is a cute little piece of ephemera there. I used one of the note cards from the collection and just added a little cherry blossom there and some journaling spots on the inside, but you know, large enough for a little photo or more journaling. And this pink card is from Martha Stewart. This is one of the cards that come with the brown polka dot envelopes, and I just used the card. It made a nice photo mat, distressed the edges. And I thought that went well. And then this is another envelope, so the tag inside is just simply this, just a simple photo mat. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't do any stamping, although I did distress the back. And then the next page. The next page is this. I used one of my sticky back canvases that are meant to work with for ATCs, and I inked the edges with the pumice stone, and then I used the stencil script stencil again, and I sprayed it with the it's a sand color Lindy Stamp King. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. But I thought it came out really, really sweet. You could tell that that's script there. I thought it was, you know, came out really cool. And I used some more of these little flower type doilies from the Paper Bag Lady and just added some I Am Rose's cherry blossoms on top. So I thought that was cute as well. And so for this next page, I added some of that Prima lace that I love so much, and I put one of my hexagons down and layered one of the Recollections flowers on top of it. I adhered some of this black chain underneath, you know, between the flower and the hexagon so that it hung down. I thought that was kind of cool. Down here is another Recollections resin black rose and another Baroque die, you know, photo mat. And then I made this little, just a little spot for little notes or tiny pictures or whatever. I just thought it was cute just to add that in. To add that in there for, you know, smaller photos or whatever. And then this is also an envelope, so just a simple photo mat, like I said. And I used my Stampin' Up! Punch to make the pull tabs for these tags. And then the last page is this. I'm sorry this video's gone so long. The last one is this. I used one of the book pages from that miniature book I showed you, and I had crinkled it and inked it and everything else. I layered it with this piece of lace that came from Margaret. I used another Baroque, mini Baroque, you know, shape, and I inked that as well. And I used a script stencil and my pumice stone Tim Holtz ink to bring out the script on there. I thought it came out really sweet. Some I Am Roses and organza flower from Recollections, and this is a bird that I punched out from a Tim Holtz die. So I thought that came out sweet as well. So that's my mini album. Like I said, I didn't do anything on the inside back cover either. I wanted it to have the feel of like a you know, a paperback book. So I thought it came out really cute, and I really liked the size, and I thought the trims looked really sweet like that as well. So I hope my friend likes it, and leave a comment and let me know what you think. And once again, I am so sorry that the video has been so long. This is like the 5th time I've videotaped it, and I give up. I'm posting this one. Anyway, ladies, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.